This presentation is on low-budget adaptive physical activities and is part of the KINE2003 Adapted Physical Activity course.
Throughout this video, we will explain the importance of physical activity and address how to adapt physical activities in order to reduce the barriers faced by many children and youth. Physical activity is an integral part to a healthy human existence. However, due to some limitations and disabilities, some individuals are unable to participate in typical versions of exercise and fitness activities. It is important for everyone, no matter what type of limitation, to incorporate at least some physical activity into their daily lives. An adapted fitness and exercise program for administrators and parents can include modifications to make it more accessible and appropriate for their specific needs and abilities. This may include low-impact exercises, modifications for injuries or chronic conditions, and adjustments for limited time or equipment. Education on the importance of physical activity and strategies for incorporating it into a busy or challenging schedule is extremely beneficial for this population.
To incorporate physical activity into their daily lives and to maintain a healthy lifestyle, it is recommended that people, no matter their ability, gender, socioeconomic status, or age, follow the Canadian 24-hour movement guidelines. The daily guidelines for youth promote at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity, several hours of unstructured play or light physical activity, 9 to 11 hours of consistent sleep each night, and a maximum of 2 hours of recreational screen usage, as well as limiting sedentary activities such as sitting. Although these are not rules, these guidelines help people to recognize what a healthy day should look like.
The Participation Report Card shows that only 5% of all youth in Canada met the 24-hour movement guidelines. Specifically, 28% of youth met the physical activity guidelines, 60% met the sleep guidelines, and 18% met the sedentary limitations. Unfortunately, these numbers are even lower in children and youth with disabilities. For example, in 2020, 0% of children and youth with disabilities met the everyday movement guidelines, 7% met the physical activity guidelines, 59% met the sleep guidelines, and 7% met the sedentary limitations. It is important to recognize that there is a big problem with healthy and active living among Canadian youth, especially in those who live with disabilities. Physical activity promotes physical fitness, motor skill development, social development, and overall improvement of quality of life, so youth, no matter what their ability level is, should have access and be encouraged to participate.
Far less children with disabilities meet the guidelines required to live a healthy lifestyle. This can be due to lack of knowledge and education, lack of accessibility, lack of affordability, and a variety of other factors. Low socioeconomic status strongly affects the accessibility of physical activity and is experienced by 1 in 4 children in Nova Scotia. This can cause barriers at school and at home surrounding things such as transportation, registration fees, and equipment. Despite these obstacles, it is important that everyone has an equal opportunity to achieve the standards of an active life.
The following slides look at some fun and easily modified activities for parents and administrators that use low-budget everyday household items. Activity 1 looks at adapting basketball. This game is a great way to incorporate social and fundamental skills such as locomotor, object manipulation, and stability skills while developing physical literacy.
Laundry bin basketball, similar to basketball, involves throwing an object into a laundry bin or hamper. The game can be played individually or with others and can be made more challenging by changing the distance between the laundry bin and the thrower, the object thrown, or by adding obstacles. The equipment needed to play this game is a laundry bin or any kind of bin or basket, and a ball that can range in size depending on the size of the bin. Some modifications for this game includes being played standing up or seated, the ball size and weight, height and distance of the bin or basket, and noisemakers on both the ball and the target. Laundry bin basketball can be played individually, either standing up or sitting down. It can also be played in a group setting with teams and rules for structured competition. The rules of laundry bin basketball can vary depending on who is playing and what variations of the game they prefer. However, here are some general rules that can be followed. Set up a laundry basket in a suitable location, such as a bedroom or laundry room, or any open space. Use different sized or weighted balls to diversify the game. Decide on a point system. For example, 1 point can be awarded for each successful shot, or a shot made from further away can be worth 2 points. Decide on a time limit if playing with other people. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins. Players must not interfere with other players' shots or touch the laundry basket while the ball is in play. Have fun and be creative with the rules. You can add your own variations, such as trick shots or playing with obstacles.
Activity 2 looks at an adapted version of ladder toss. This game is a great way to incorporate social and fundamental skills such as object manipulation and stability skills when developing physical literacy.
Similar to ladder toss, this game involves throwing a clothes hanger at a horizontal pole. The goal of this game is to try and get the hanger to hang onto the target pole. The only equipment needed throughout this game are clothes hangers and a pole, which can be a broomstick, curtain rod, or mop. This game is easily modified to accommodate the age and ability level of the participants, such as rope or string being tied tightly at both ends in place of a pole, any hooked object in place of a clothes hanger. It can be played standing up or sitting down. The height and distance of the horizontal target can be changed, and noisemakers on both the ball and target can be placed. Hanger toss is a fun but challenging game. The game can be played alone or with others and can be adjusted to fit different skill levels and preferences. Hanger toss is a popular game for children and adults alike and can be played indoors or outdoors. Here are the basic rules of hanger toss. Set up a pole or rod horizontally in a stable location. The height of the pole should be reasonable and tailored to the players to ensure that it is age and developmentally appropriate. The exact distance between the pole and the players can be adjusted based on age and skill level. Points are awarded for successfully tossing the hanger onto the pole. If the object lands on the pole and stays on it, the player earns 1 point. Players can discuss a points goal to determine a winner. The most important rule of hanger toss is to have fun. This game can be played competitively or just for fun and can be enjoyed by people of all ages and skill levels.
Activity 3 looks at adapting volleyball. This game is a great way to incorporate social and fundamental skills such as object manipulation and stability skills when developing physical literacy.
Seated volleyball involves serving or hitting an object over a net or horizontal object positioned in the middle of the floor. This game can be played with 2 or more people and a scoring system can be used. If the ball touches the ground on your opponent's side, you get a point. The equipment needed to play this game is a ball or any type of ball appropriate for age and ability level, and a net. This can be made by using a broomstick, bench cones, and hockey sticks. Some modifications for this game includes being played standing up or sitting down, height and distance of horizontal target, noisemakers on both the ball and the net, and ball size and weight. In seated volleyball, the rules can be adjusted to fit the situation. Here are some possible rules for an adapted game of seated volleyball. The court and net can be adjusted to fit the available space and equipment, like using a smaller court and lowering the net. The number of players on each team can be adjusted based on the number of people playing. The number of points required to win the set or match can be altered, and a 2-point advantage may not be necessary. It is important to remember good sportsmanship and fair play should always be encouraged, regardless of the level of competition or the rules being used.
Activity 4 looks at adapted hockey. This game is a great way to incorporate social and fundamental skills such as locomotor, object manipulation, and stability skills when developing physical literacy.
Pool noodle hockey is similar to floor hockey, but is adapted to all skill levels by using a pool noodle instead of a stick to hit the ball into the net or marked target. This game can be played by 2 or more people. We used pool noodles and a dodgeball, and for nets we used chairs, but you can also mark it with anything that you have. Some modifications that can be made would be ball size and weight, height and distance of the goal nets, and noisemaker on either the ball or the net. The rules of pool noodle hockey follow the same rules as a typical hockey game. However, they can be adjusted to fit skill level. To set up the game, a pool noodle is required for each player, as well as cones or any type of markers to mark 2 nets on either side of the playing field. Any type of ball can be used for this game, such as a balloon or a beach ball. Changing the ball is one of the possible modifications for this game. Another modification could be the size of the goal nets and the distance between them. Noisemakers can also be placed near the nets and on the ball. A scoring system can be used to add a fun, competitive element, but the most important thing is to have fun.
Activity 5 looks at adapted bowling. This game is a great way to incorporate social and fundamental skills such as object manipulation and stability skills when developing physical literacy.
Modified bowling is a game that involves rolling a ball down a set path using your hands or a ramp, attempting to knock down 10 vertical targets. It is possible to do this activity individually or with others. Some equipment needed for this activity are balls varying in types and sizes depending on age and ability, pins, items like bottles, cups, paper towel rolls, and cones, and a ramp which can be made by a blue mat, cardboard, a bench, anything you can elevate and roll a ball down. This game is easily modified to accommodate the age and ability level of the participants, such as playing standing up or sitting down, the height and distance from the pins, having noisemakers on both the ball and pins, and having a variety of ball sizes and weights. An adaptive bowl in the activity can be modified to best match the age and ability level of the participants. First, set up the game by placing the pins a few meters from the ramp or starting point. This distance can be made shorter or longer depending on preference. You can incorporate a scoring system to make this activity more challenging. The most important thing to do is have fun.
It is important to keep in mind that at the end of the day, all that matters is movement. You don't need access to large buildings and fields or expensive equipment to create fun and accessible activities for everyone. Remember, adaptations and modifications can be made from anything. You just have to use your imagination. Finally, if you had any questions about the information presented today or would like to learn more, please check out these sources.